I watched Mufasa, which is the latest iteration of The Lion King. I was underwhelmed. And I'm not trying to be a smarty cat.
It's a live action?
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
CGI live action, I guess.
Okay, what?
Mufasa is Simba's dad. It's his backstory. So, as
Is it
to
even,
at the end,
is the thing interesting?
no. Well,
Like
vaguely.
What about it? What? Tell
There's
me
a
about
villain.
his backstory.
There's a new villain who is voiced by Mads Mikkelsen, who I do like. And his voicing is pretty good. It's besides the point, but he plays like a type of lion, like a white lion, like almost an albino lion that are a little bit bigger. He's
Okay.
like the last surviving one, and he wants to become the king of everything.
Right.
And Mufasa is lost from his parents during a flood. He's taken in by Scar's mother, and his father is a king who doesn't like strays and is like, we shouldn't have him. He'll betray Scar, whose name is like Sika before they call him Scar.
Yeah. Okay.
And they end up explaining why he's called Scar, how Mufasa and Sika were friends as kids, and why Scar ends up betraying him, and how Mufasa becomes king. And it's like, it's cool to get like little extra details, but it's like not enough for, and it's a 2-hour movie. That's the other thing. It should have been like 80 to 90 minutes max. 2 hours, that's such a big time commitment when you don't have that much to say, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, the story sounded enough. Well, I mean, it's kind of. It's like a formula. Really,
Well,
it's a formula.
Disney's very good at that.
Well, a lot
I
of
will
people
say.
are, and like if you do it well, it's okay. Because, like I heard or read one time, there's really only 7 actual plots.
Stories, yeah.
Yeah, or
I heard 16, but everything that's ever existed is one of this.
yeah.
Nothing can break from.
So they're trying to recapture the magic, and so what they do a prequel. Nothing
Yeah.
original, and maybe I don't blame them because everybody's doing that.
Yeah. Well, they were the ones to do it before everyone was doing it, so.
Yeah. So,
I mean, was it bad? No. I mean, technically, no. It just was not. It was just like.
was there any virtue signaling in it? Because if there was,
Maybe. Nothing that immediately struck me.
if it's not obvious or like in my face, I don't. Because
I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either I don't give a shit, or I may actually, kind of agree with it. I would agree with it. I'm not like a caveman or anything, or
Yeah, you're not a nutwing.
no.
One thing I do want to say, completely unrelated. We recorded about it. Mickey 17. I mean, Mark Ruffalo. He did do a good job acting, but they were most definitely trying to deface, for lack of a better term, Trump. I mean, it was.
Well, he's extremely political.
I know Ruffalo's a huge liberal.
Which is fine. No, I mean,
Yeah,
but
well, half the freaking country voted for Donald Trump. It
Yes.
didn't ruin my. I think some people were like, oh, they're doing it again.
yeah.
And this time it's a South Korean who has no fucking idea about our politics.
What? Just don't, please. I mean, do you want to offend people in movies where you're trying to entertain?
Yes.
People find that very off-putting. I wouldn't want one. Or I'm speaking. Well, a conservative may actually want one. I don't want that at all. I don't want it.
You don't want to what the Daily Wire was trying to do with their films.
Well, I don't want anything that's like hyper
Yeah.
conservative viewpoint. I don't. That's not. There's places for that. It's everywhere else for. People want to get away from that nonsense. I don't dig that.
There was a period of time where I think liberal-minded people thought the reason the Hollywood system and U.S. movies were so good was because They were liberal-minded. But it's gone so far now that it's causing them to make not so good movies.
Garbage.
And maybe there is something to be said to that in the 70s, especially, maybe even the 60s, they were making some shit that was groundbreaking and revolutionary because the politics of the time were exactly that. Sorry for fucking my whole speech up, but
No.
they were groundbreaking and revolutionary in the 60s and 70s. The liberal regime. You know what I'm saying? The hippie movement was breaking new ground.
Yeah, but they were in the 60s and in the anti-war, which
they were anti-establishment. They didn't want to be
to a degree, but the anti-war was a big component of that, and they were right. I mean, nobody wanted to go there. Here's my opinion.
You think government was right, or the hippies were right?
The government actually was right to fight that war
In Vietnam.
Yes, and everybody says, well, what did it do? And we suffered, we did, and I wasn't one of them. I wasn't a service person or anything. I wasn't affected by it, but we did for a period of time stave off, communism. People look, because now that it's basically defunct, Soviet communism, it's like it's like we don't remember how pernicious that was. They wanted to control the world. Mm-hmm. They really did, and were taking steps to do it. They were spreading into South America, into like Latin America, into, everywhere. And that their system of government was horrible. It really was. It's, communism, and theirs was as close to pure communism as, anybody will probably get, other than North Korea, which, if that's pure communism, you can see how successful that is.
Very.
Yeah. They can't even keep the lights on at night. But we had to fight it. Having fought in Vietnam for a period of time to control it and ultimately have to come out of it may have been enough for communists, the people in charge, to say, look, we can't go to war with them all the time.
Every time we want another country.
Yeah, we can't do that. It's like, granted, okay, yeah, they pulled out, but they bled our resources, okay? And we had more resources than they did because capitalism provides resources.
Yeah.
And communism doesn't.
Okay, well, I know, as you said, Russia is a completely different beast. Than it was then.
Right.
Is that the crux of the argument why it would be advantageous to pull out of Ukraine now? Or do you think, what's your mindset towards that?
We don't have to fight Russia.
Anymore.
No.
Because
we were fighting them through
power.
proxy, basically. Yeah, they're not the Soviet Union.
Okay.
Okay, they're not. They can't. The Soviet
I just
Union
wanted to get your mindset.
Their army was probably 4 times the size of the Russian army, okay? And they could pull resources from around the world where there was communist regimes, and I don't know. I mean, Ukraine,
all of the satellites are down now for them. I mean,
they don't have anything anymore.
Just Russia.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Even Kazakhstan's independent, for crying out loud, and they have like a military of 5 people.
In my country.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we got off this topic.
We did, but I enjoy speaking about that, and I think there's some relevancy to it. Mufasa, I think I gave it a 2 or a 2.5.
Either way, that's really low.
It's not good. It's not good.
So Disney's got to get. I'm telling you. I mean, they have money to burn, but eventually you run out, and they can't.
Sometimes
make bad
it's
movies.
fun to light money on fire. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, but eventually you run out. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, you can do it, and that's what they're doing.
But it is fun.
Mufasa, maybe
I gave it a 2. I was a little.
So that's really bad. That's bad. That's
Well, it
like
just
tie me to a
wasn't-
chair and make me watch a movie bad.
There's not a point for me to watch it. If you have
I mean,
kids,
it's a kid's movie, though.
yeah, I mean, if you have kids, I would watch Mufasa over Snow White any day of the week.
Snow White's...
The original Snow White, I would have them watch over both.
Yeah, but Snow White is like anthrax. I don't even understand.
I've never been there, but I agree.
Yeah, it's not good. And then they're coming out with, I mentioned the Fantastic Four. But they're changing one of the characters. I mean, look.
The
Blaze.
Discuss. Human Torch.
Human Torch, all right.
What are they changing about him?
Okay, so he was like devil may care ladies man, right?
Is he...
He's going to become a beta soy boy now.
How do we know that?
I read it. Because the actor talked about it. Like how he's going to be...
Is the actor playing him, is he the one who cheated on his wife to be with Ariana Grande?
I don't know who...
Does he look like he is white, but he's also like albino-ish? Kinda?
I didn't see a picture.
Oh, you didn't see it.
I just read
I'm
it.
sorry.
And there was another character that, it's like we're making it with modern sensibilities. It's like, okay. So you're changing it.
Why the fuck? Dude, if you're Disney, shut the fuck up. Don't say that. Don't say you're updating it. If you said, we're going to make it like it should have been in the 90s, people would cream. I'm sorry for screaming that, but people would be so fucking hype. If you're like, hey, do you guys remember the Blade trilogy? It's going to be like that. People would be like, that's fucking sick. People who have never watched the Blade trilogy would say that's fucking sick.
If I want an ideology to learn about it, I'll read about it. Don't shove it into a movie that's about something completely different.
They need Fantastic Four to do well. Because, well, first of all, that's an IP that has never... I think the Fantastic Four that had Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, funnily enough, who's also now he's become...
You say funnily enough, I think you mean to say oddly enough.
I
don't
do.
know why you say that. And not that it's a big deal.
It's an idiosyncrasy, I guess.
You got to stop doing it. All right.
I'll try. I won't. Well, he became a mega star in Marvel afterwards, oddly enough. Anywho, that one I think did financially well. Maybe. I'll put it up on the screen, whatever. Then they did another one. So I think Sony owned it forever. And now Marvel owns it, and so that's why they're making the movie now. Because, whatever, Sony agreed. Sony did it in like 20... Yes. They did it like a few years ago, and it had Miles Teller in it, and that's the only person I know that was in it. I didn't watch it. People said it was horrifically bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
And I think the original one, the one with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba... It must not have done well because that's you make that into a series, you make like 10 Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you make a trilogy.
Like, at least.
And if you don't, you're right. It means
it didn't make much money.
We can't. Yeah, kick this horse is dead. We can't kick it.
And I could be wrong. Maybe they made 2, and the second one didn't do well. I think they only made 1. So, you make 1. I mean, that's like. That's like when they tried to do the Universal monster movies all over again, and The Mummy sucked so bad they were like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. We gotta retool this whole thing. But
wait, you mean The Mummy with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
All right, because
the original one with Brendan, they did a trilogy of that.
They did a trilogy. That was good.
And the original
first
one was good.
The second one wasn't bad. I don't think I saw the third one, but.
Yeah, I remember the Scorpion King was the movie that put Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the map, and now he's doing a cool ass movie called The Hurting Machine, I think, where it is, and you might know, it's Mark something, but he was a UFC before UFC guy. He was a collegiate wrestler, definitely took steroids, and was also doing heroin while he was a cage fighter. I saw this amazing documentary on him. It just so happened they were documenting him as he was falling into the depths of this like opioid addiction. I don't know if it was heroin, but it's definitely opioids.
There's Mark Herring.
There was a Mark Herring, but then there's I don't know the name. It's Mark something. They call him the Smashing Machine because he was a wrestler who was just like a brute.
Yeah.
This guy looks like a fucking would not want to mess with him.
Right.
And The Rock's playing him. It's like one of his
now
legitimate roles.
Yeah. A lot of his, he's like so highly paid. I'm like, you're awful.
He's terrible.
He's not a good actor.
I mean, he's charismatic as a wrestler.
Yeah, you're into wrestling. I
love wrestling.
I didn't like him as a wrestler, and I was into wrestling at the time. I didn't like him at all.
Was it like he was doing his job, so you didn't like him, or?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
That's what he's paid to do.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, but if Marvel/Disney is to fail with Snow White, fail with Mufasa, and then fail with the Fantastic Four, I mean, I'm glad you brought that to light. And maybe it's so minor that no one is like off-put by it. You need to
entertain, baby.
Lock the fuck in with Fantastic Four. You can't, dude. You really don't want to mess with that because they're coming up. I mean, they're trying
There's
to
another aspect of
introduce
it where it's going to be very questionable. So I think it's doomed already. I think it's already doomed because them going out and saying that stuff, probably with permission. It weren't like going off script.
Yeah.
Like Zegler.
Yeah.
And it's like people are like rolling their eyes already. It's like, oh, come on.
I know.
No.
That should have been a lesson that seems like it didn't stick.
No.
At all.
I think. I don't. I mean, they know. They're not stupid. They know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they think, eventually we'll wear them down and they'll watch these two stupid movies. Or, I don't know, they're truly being virtuous and saying, well, it's the right thing to do. Regardless of
how much money we lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's name was Mark Kerr.
Mark Kerr, that's the guy. Sorry. Thank you for finding that. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, because here's the deal, Big Dad man.
Listening. I'm here.
RDJ is coming back as Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is a Fantastic Four villain. He is going to be the main villain, I think, at least.
Who's coming back?
Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
And he's going to be like the Avengers' big bad. Like, he's trying to fill Thanos' shoes.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need Fantastic Four for people to appreciate it. They're going to watch Avengers anyways. But if Fantastic Four sucks and that bleeds into Avengers, you're going to make your payday on Fantastic Four. You're still going to make your buck on Avengers. But you will have completely lost all the goodwill with the Avengers franchise, which is a chestnut or a war chest that has... Yeah, none of those.
It's a chestnut.
It's a chestnut. It was an untouchable.
Yeah.
It was the jewel.
Right.
The crown jewel.
Golden goose.
Yeah. If that dies, game over, man. Game over.
Well, I don't know what else they make.
It's the end days if they fuck that up.
The end times. Yep.
I'm glad I have you here to sort out my slightly wrong phrases because I think I got hit in the head really hard as a kid because I can never get them right.
Yeah, well, you did. We didn't think it'd be this bad. You might be getting better.
What's your prognosis? You think they're gonna make it through? Or?
I would short Disney stock for the next 10 years. Shit. And I'm not like a finance guy, and I know well enough to know that. I do own
some Disney stock.
Huh?
I do own some Disney stock.
How much?
Probably like 1.
I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't go all in on them. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a financial guy or anything. I know a little bit about it, but that's just my way of saying sell them short. They don't got it together. I don't know what they're thinking. There has to be like people, shareholders. Sometimes they get those shareholders that they own like 3%, and they got a lot of sway. And I'm surprised one of them isn't saying, "You got to fix this. I don't know what you're doing. These are intentionally bad business decisions you're making as an entertainment company. Cut it out. I don't care if your employees start to bitch and moan. It's just what has happened in the past. I'd say they work for you. And if they don't like the sensibilities of the company, tell them to leave. You got to stop giving in to these people that whine about, like, look, you don't understand what work is. You don't really have a say, okay? Unless we're exploiting children or, doing something horrifically bad. Shut up, okay? Yeah. I don't know. They should have cleaned house. They should have just gone through with a chainsaw. Because I think that is part of it, is the employees are social justice warriors who want look, capitalism isn't necessarily synchronistic with like social justice. The two aren't like hand in hand. Capitalism is to a small degree and sometimes to a larger degree about exploitation. It's not about, look, you don't make billions of dollars helping puppies.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Somewhat ruthless. You're there to make money, and you got to produce a product that people want, or service in this case.
Well said.